right. Let's get back to this. Hopefully I can refine the rest of this tonight. Let's see what we can do. Got a different light setup this time, so hopefully this works better. It's another tool I like to use a lot for tooling the surface to get it a little bit more smoothed out. I don't need it to be like super smooth, but just like this is a really nice tool for like refining edges, and it does pretty much the same thing as the metal tool, this one, but it's almost like more like a fingertip, especially if you use like this side of the tool. I feel like I should play music or something when I'm doing this. I don't know if there's any issues with that, the YouTube, as long as, I don't know if there's any copyright issues with that, playing music while you're doing stuff. Oh. There's our dog upstairs, barking away at something. Yeah, this tool is really, it's almost kind of like what I'll use for like a finishing tool for areas. I think I used it a lot for this one here. I'm just going to add a little bit of, this would probably be benefit if I warmed it up a little bit. It's pretty cold down in the basement, so that's where my work bench is, or my sculpting area is. This clay is really hard because of that. So usually I like to break out the oven, warm up some clay. But usually at this stage I don't really need a lot. So as long as I can get like a little bit, just enough to add, like fill in divots or fill out shapes, that's all I really need. But man, if you ever want a hand workout, just start sculpting and get some hard clay. Taking a while for this one to warm up. Even this little tiny piece. Maybe because my hands are cold too. All right, I'll just hold that in my hand for a little bit and let it warm up. Work on some of these. I mean, it's a plus, it's a benefit, and because I mean the hard clay means that I'm not going to mess it up when I'm touching it with my hands here, which is kind of nice. But it also means that it's much harder to work. Oops. Bump the camera there. See how this clay is feeling. It's a little better. Okay. Just need like a tiny little bit too. There's just like a little bit of an uneven divot here. I find sculpting to be a very it's kind of a Zen kind of thing. Can I get this? Trying to maintain this plane that I have established here on the side of the head, but also kind of refine it just a little bit. This is almost like sanding or but not quite sanding because you're not taking material off. It's like you're just redistributing the clay a little bit. I think this is where a lot of people, or well, some people might use like a solvent or something, but like I said before, the solvents are just so I don't know. The fumes and stuff are pretty nasty with them. I mean, so it's the same with resins and stuff like that. So, I mean, when I wish there was some non-toxic resins or something, which I think they do have like plant-based ones that are made from like plant resins instead of like chemical resins, but from the limited research I've done, it didn't seem like they were as strong or resistant, but wouldn't be opposed to trying them out sometime, seeing if how they work, just to maybe rule it out. I would use them if they work well and they're less toxic. That would be great. But I always try to, when I do any kind of casting stuff, I always try to make sure I wear gloves and a respirator and stuff like that. Make sure you're doing it in a area that's ventilated if you can. The little chunk under the ear there. Fill it in. That's kind of what I'm talking about, these little areas that need just a little tiny extra bit of clay. Like little holes or little spots are uneven. Well, that need to be corrected. The shape needs to be corrected. Unevenness is kind of part of what I'm going for with this particular style here, as far as like ears aren't symmetrical. There's not like a lot of symmetry going on because I like to add the character in there. Let's see here. I wonder if it even looks like I'm doing anything with this. I'm just like touching it with tools. Not sure how well the camera picks it up. But you can see, like, if you look close, like this area here, it has these like divots in it and stuff. I'm just trying to get like a nice finish on this thing. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just, you know, just want it to feel like it wasn't, feel like it was finished, not just like accidentally left there. As I've said before, if you do want to watch this, and I don't know who be interested, but feel free to grab some clay and sculpt along too. I mean, not, you don't have to sculpt what I'm sculpting, but just, you know, I like to imagine when I'm working on this that maybe there's some other people that are doing the same kind of thing right now. Wherever you are, there's always somebody making something. All right. There goes the dog again. Let's see if there's any other areas I want to touch up on this. This little thing right here, could use a little extra clay. Just to these cleanup processes and sort of refining stuff can be kind of monotonous and like very small incremental changes, but it really makes a big difference at the end when they all add up. Let's see. I'm going to put a little bit of clay. There's like a crevice in there. I might try to fill that in just so when I go to cast this, it doesn't have doesn't fill up with silicone. Just make a real skinny. Oops. Now that I'm seeing this side needs a little bit of work here, but nothing too major. There's a little bit of a divot there. Really defining some of these planes and edges and like shapes is really important too when you're doing something like stylized like this, because it adds a little bit more of a level of sophistication to the design, I think. Intention doesn't feel as just as crude, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. Let's see, the top edge is looking a little bit Let me add some texture to this top anyway for it to look a little more like wood, but I want it to be like more of an intentional mark. Like maybe something like a split or something in there. That's sort of breaking the edge of that. Yeah, let's see here. I was thinking about making a universal plaque because I kind of had that going here. I made this plaque and it's got some paint on it. Can't remember. It's been a long time since I did this, but I can't remember why there's paint on it. But I was thinking, yeah, I kind of have the cuts going that way. Oh, there's a cut on that end too. And that side. But yeah, I have also these like little like chip kind of things going on, at least in that spot, which I kind of like. It's almost like a chipped away layer of wood, but I don't know if there's much room on this one to do that, but I could maybe do that at the bottom here. But I don't know if it would end up getting too busy. Let me try it out. So I'll just mark where I want that chip to be. And this is a tool I made. It's just a lot of sculptors make these kind of tools. It's just like a guitar string bent into like a little, essentially what it's like a rake tool, but this one's good for doing little areas. So just taking off a little bit of a layer of that. I want kind of a defined edge there, so I'm gonna go back in and kind of press around there to get that kind of indented more. I don't hate that. It's kind of cool. Get that wood chipping effect, and that'll be enhanced. We gotta paint it. Could be cool to bring it across here. And it's cool, sometimes you can bring that around. So I could actually have that on this edge too. I think the way I'm going to do that is actually just build up a surface, a slight edge, to kind of have that chipping effect here instead of having to cut it away. Oops. Running into my light here. Gives it that nice lip. I could actually have done this on the top edge to do that effect. That probably would have been a slightly more effective way to do it, because then you don't have to fight to get that edge deep enough there. You can just put a little bit on there and it can go. Maybe I'll end up doing that actually. Let's wrap this hair in there. So that's where that chip will end. Nice little chip there. And I will fill this back here is not as important because this is actually going to be where the magnet is. So I'm not as concerned about that as much. But I do want this edge to be nice and defined. I think I just got rid of one of my little marks there. So we have cuts coming like down through the wood this way, but we're also going to have kind of, there's going to be maybe some splits going around the edges too. I'm going to put a little bit more in his eye up here. Might be too much though. Just wanted to give it a touch more volume. Should probably remove a little bit of that. Oh. I'll just remove all of it and then try again. Let's put just a little bit of piece in there. Need a different tool. These areas, these little tight areas here get a little bit tricky. meticulous work here. Question is, do I want that line back above the eye? I don't have it on this one, so that's good. All right. Oh yeah, I also have to finish the cleaver, which I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. We'll get to that when we get to it. Okay. Let's fix this here. Next. One thing you gotta make sure you do when you're doing this stuff is not have, well, at least for me, it's not, make sure your nails are clipped, because you can dig in. If your nails get too long, you can easily nick up the sculpture when you're working on it just by holding it. The hair. What's that doing there? Out of the hair. Sometimes the interesting thing about stylized things like this is this cheek is ending in a different way than this cheek is over here. This one's sort of bringing it across because of the way the brow is here, which is intentional based on the design, but it's also makes for an interesting challenge with how to resolve those shapes in a way that is appealing. And have those lines still be defined. Those swoopy lines. So I think what I'm going to have it do is just kind of just germinate into the head here. Where's my other? Oh, here it is. My other rake tool. This is also, oops, put the camera there a little bit. This is also a guitar string. This one's good for taking a little bit more material off. I still don't use it really aggressively. But like this area here, it's kind of hard to get that other tool in, and I just want it to be a little bit more of an even transition. I think that's working. All right. Define this ear like I was doing before I got sidetracked. I'm going to put a little bit of one of the reasons I'm so concerned about getting this getting the surface cleaner too is that because I like adding, like in this one here as well, like you can see I added like some of these almost like rot marks or something like that. I added a few on the chin here as well, and some up here, just to give it more of that zombie feel. And having the surface be a little cleaner allows those areas to really shine. Like I think I'm gonna do that like right here maybe. So do that second here. Actually, I think I'm gonna do it very similarly to how I did this here. So we're gonna make a little. I'll try this out. I've done it this way before, but we're gonna get a little tiny. I want these to be subtle, so I need to get a really thin, small piece of clay here. I'm gonna do kind of like a circle. Not sure if it's gonna work how I want it to. This is kind of coming out of the head a little bit too much. Just thinking of could be okay. Let's try it. I just want to bring the edge down. I'm gonna need one of my other one of these. Not sure I like how that's looking. Try to take a little bit of the edge down. I want it to be really subtle. Probably would have been better just to carve it in. Because at this point I'm kind of end up doing that anyway, probably. Yeah. Well, you try things and then you learn from them. I think that would work really well for like that method would work well for like a bullet hole or something you wanted to flare out more. But this is more like I just want it to feel like the skin is kind of pulled away. Like, so really, we really want to just go more in instead of out for these little rot holes. Oops. Yeah, that's better. Put another one right here. And then just another little tiny one there. All right. I think I might put one over here too, maybe. Let me think about this. Yeah, maybe one right here. I'm going to kind of draw it on first. Yeah, something like that. This one, I want to keep that that plane. I don't want to lose that plane on the edge there. So I'm going to work with that. I think I might do a body for one of these guys, or just do like a whole zombie. That would be cool. One of my favorite films. I mean, I love all the Leica films. They're amazing. One of my favorite films is Paranorman, which if you seen that film, you probably see some inspiration for these zombies. They're not like copies of those zombie designs, but they're definitely. I love the feel of that film. So these are my zombies tend to look like they could live in that world. So that's kind of what I would like to do. That would be really cool. Make a full zombie figure. But we're starting with the heads. Starting with the heads. And once we get those done, I have some other ideas as well. Lots of ideas. We'll see if I'm lucky enough to get around to all of them. But hopefully I will be. We'll see. But I'm just glad I'm able to do this now, so just enjoy this process for the time being. This is a great little tool for cleanup too, because you can just get in those little areas and just sometimes you can use it to smooth things out. Sometimes you can kind of use it to carve out spots. Like I might use it here to carve a couple new little wood pieces at the top. Kind of showing where these grains kind of go through here. Give them a little bit of character. maybe put a split up here somewhere. I want these to be deep enough so when I paint them, they'll have a nice recess to fill, and some of that washes or something like that. Let's put one more cut here. So I think it's like running up there, so that seems like another spot that a piece of wood would be. Maybe we can get a suggestion of that right here if I can get in there. Kind of like that there's a crack going right through that bolt. This one I have the crack going there. I'm going to put another split right here for that. Can I get in there though? Just bring this crack down here, kind of give it a little bit of not sure I want to do too much more to this edge here. I might actually. Yeah. I'm not sure I even like that, to be honest. It's a little subtle. I think I might try something on this side, and if I like it, then I'll add it to the other side. Edge is kind of getting lost here. Let's see if I can't reestablish it. Yeah, I kind of like the simpler feel of it, but I don't know if I need to fill any of this in, or I might just be able to smooth some of it out. There's a part coming down here. Should be another crevice. And we'll bring that over to this side. And bring that down. All right, so I'm going to add another couple little rot marks back here. This one's going to be kind of connected. Have an extra little one right there. we got some there. Some there. Some there. Maybe I could do another few down here. Maybe somewhere right here. I think I might do one more. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna do one more little thing down here. Kind of similar to the wood, I think. Just gonna have a little bit of a change, like almost like a little bit of that rot to the edge of the skin there. want the shapes to be very purposeful here. All right, I think that for the most part here, I'm happy with this guy. Let me see. Is there anything else? Maybe these wrinkles appear a little bit. I'm almost afraid to call it done at this point, but you can only keep going for so long on one thing. I'm going to keep that momentum going here. So yeah, I think that that is done. Back here will be where the magnet is. The other one I carved out a spot for the magnet, but I think I'm going to avoid doing that this time. I'll probably just drill a couple little spots for some rare earth magnets instead of doing like the big blocky magnet I did on that one. Still have to figure this out. So the cleaver will end up going in the head like that. And that'll be a separate piece. But this, I think we could say it's done. And then I just need to work on the cleaver. I'll have to probably do a little bit of maybe that'll save that for next session. Finishing out this piece. Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching. And See you next week. Bye.